Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Apple Watch Series 3 and see if this particular Apple Watch still holds up in 2024. Now, this Apple Watch came out a couple of years ago, so I don't really think this is the watch, to be honest, that I would recommend the vast majority of people. But I will tell you, if you don't have any Apple Watch, and if your phone currently supports this specific, hardware, like with this Apple Watch Series 3, then by all means I would consider it. But there's a couple of things that I would recommend thinking about before you actually buy this Apple Watch. So first of all, if you do want to buy some Apple Watches, I would recommend buying this here. Links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off with the exterior of this particular Apple Watch, it did come out in two different sizes. So it came out in that 38mm and 42mm size. And funny enough, this was the last Apple Watch to actually come out in these particular sizes. Since then, all the Apple Watches have increased in sizes. And this one actually, when you do kind of look at it, it does kind of look like a little bit of an outdated watch. So again, it's not a problem. It's just kind of what happens when you're buying one of these types of watches. So it definitely looks a little bit outdated, but it's not the end of the world or anything. And it's a smaller sized watch than the latest ones, so keep that in mind as well. But regardless, it still has a pretty good display. I think they're all the same resolution, and they all pretty much get up to 1000 nits of brightness, unless you're talking about the latest Apple Watches. Other than that, this thing still looks pretty good and pretty sharp from the top. On the side, same type of design as well, like you're getting the same type of digital crown on the side, the same side button as well. So there really isn't really anything insanely different going on there. It all looks about the same from this, specific perspective. Now, you are getting on the backside that wireless charging pad, which is very good. You can go ahead and wirelessly charge this thing as you normally could with any other Apple Watch. And then you're also getting your bands. So the good thing I like about these bands is that you can actually go through and pretty much just, attach any other band that you want inside of this one. So what that basically means is with this particular band, you can go ahead and just, detach and attach this band to any other, Apple Watch that you currently own, as long as they're in the same size, the bigger or the smaller one. And that's actually a pretty insane thing, that you had that type of capability from the first Apple Watch all the way up to the latest Apple Watch, which is pretty crazy in my opinion. So that in and of itself is a very, very cool thing. I would tell you from that perspective though, there's probably a reason why I wouldn't recommend buying this particular watch right now, and that is actually within the software perspective of this device. The problem with the Apple Watch Series 3 in 2024 is that this particular device, as far as we know, isn't really getting supported with software anymore. And even when it was supported with software, it was kind of too long. It was longly supported in software for way too long, which kind of caused issues for these types of devices. One issue that a lot of people ran into, probably the most common issue on these Apple Watches, was that for these particular devices, if you were buying an Apple Watch Series 3 and if you were connecting it to your device and everything, there was a chance that even after factory resetting your Apple Watch, your device didn't have enough, storage to actually install the updates. So even on a factory resetted Apple Watch, you couldn't even go through and essentially update your watch. It just didn't have enough storage. So that, I think, prompted Apple to fix this issue. I think they released some sort of software update that fixed it. But it's how can you update the software if your device can't even, install it in the first place? So that was a very crazy thing. And that's just one of the many issues that you're going to probably run into with something like the Apple Watch Series 3. So from a software perspective, that's the one side when it was supported with software. But right now, it's not really supported with software. So that makes this phone, I would say, an even worse deal in a way, because what's going to end up happening is that this particular Apple Watch, right, you're going to buy it, you're going to use it, but then it's probably going to end up running into some more problems. It's going to run into some more issues. And I would hate to recommend, a device like this to people where it's already kind of going to be outdated with software or outdated in hardware. And that's just not a good situation to be in, frankly. So that's another pretty big thing to keep in mind as well. But I would tell you, if you are planning on buying an Apple Watch like this, there's probably some good that can come, with it as well. So the big thing is that if you're currently still, having somewhat of an older iPhone on an older iOS version that will support this, well then this is a pretty decent watch. And if you're coming from no watch, this is a decent option. You are getting that S3 chip and W2 wireless chip inside and all that kind of stuff. But the big thing that I typically do on my Apple Watch is basically check things like my steps, I track my workouts, and I basically just check notifications if people are calling me or texting me. I check that through my Apple Watch. Other than that, I'm not really doing anything super complex. And honestly, I'm still using my Apple Watch Series 4. My Apple Watch Series 4 from 2016 or 2017, I am still using that watch that came out at that time, which is actually pretty insane. So I'm still using that connected to my iPhone 15 Pro, and I'm having a very good time, and I have really no reason to upgrade until my Apple Watch is not compatible with my iPhone anymore. So this in and of itself is a very big thing to keep in mind, because you're actually able to go ahead and get something like this particular Apple Watch And if your phone is still supported with it, and if you do basic things with it, then you might be okay. For me personally, I was totally okay with this particular Apple Watch, for a time. And I was using the Series 2 up until like 2021 or something. So you might be okay with this particular watch, but I would probably recommend for the average person to buy something at least that's still kind of supported with software. And that's why I would recommend the average person to buy something like the Apple Watch Series 4. If you can go for the Apple Watch SE 1 or the Apple Watch Series 5, those ones would be better than this thing. But that's kind of what I think in this particular case. If you're wanting a device that's probably going to be a little bit better, I think those ones are the better ones to go for. And I think the Apple Watch Series 3 is still good enough for the most part. But if it's not supported on your phone, and if you don't want to deal with the amount of issues that this Apple Watch can bring, I would probably recommend just buying the Apple Watch Series 4, the Series 5, or the SE 1. So that pretty much covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.